Show. All right, folks, if this next space feels familiar, well, it should, okay? Because Reverend Dr. Harold Marrero is back on the FayWhat Show, and I couldn't be happier. So Harold joined us last year when we were talking about queer faith, safe schools, and what it really means to protect our kids and our community. And now he's back, stepping into an even bigger moment and an even bigger role. This is Reverend Dr. Harold Marrero, the new executive director of Pridelines and minister at the historic Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Miami, a queer faith leader, healer, and a creative force committed to authenticity, inclusion, and collective healing. Harold, welcome back to the FayWhat Show, boo!
Thank you. I'm so happy to be back.
I adore you. I adore your spirit, your energy, your love, everything. Thank you for being back on the show.
Yes, I mean, I told you I'll be back, and
you did say that. You were like, "I'll be back," and I was like, "Yeah." Arnold Schwarzenegger said that. I got it.
No, I love being on here. I love you. I love what you do in the community. You're such. It's so nice that I see you everywhere. You know, like all the events, all the major events. You know, there's Faye. There's Faye doing what Faye does best, which is just bring sunshine and light to the spaces that need it the most.
Thank you so much. Harold, listen, now more than ever, man, we have to be out there representing no matter what. You know, like I recall there being a time where it was like me being a Latina lesbian was like the fifth thing that I told you about myself, right? Well, now it's the first because I need everybody to know that I am a daughter of immigrants that, you know, if they didn't come here how they did, I wouldn't be sitting here right now as a US born, you know, person. It's like we need to shine now more than ever. And you're doing that also, you know. It's scary times,
it is,
kid.
It's scary times, but I do feel that the times that we're living in are, you know, like we're living through history. And this is the thing that a lot of people, like, when you learn about history in school or when you just talk about general history, people often ask, you know, how would I have acted? How would I have responded if that was happening to me, if it was happening in my backyard, if it was my country that was going through, you know, the horrors of Germany, Italy,
fascism, just say it.
Yeah. And guess what? We are going through it. So we are in the midst of all of that is happening in this country and in other parts of the world. You know, there's this movement towards extremism that is just it's not who we are, and it's not what I thought the world would look like at this point in time. Yeah. So I'm a little bit disappointed, but I'm also seeing it as an opportunity for our community to come together and for people who just love pluralism and love, you know, diversity and love to learn new things from others to come together and say, this is who we want to be. Yeah. We don't want to be that. Yeah. And we were never that. I feel like we got, you know, it all got taken from us, and now we have to stand up and say, no, that's not it.
Yeah. And when we get it back, I think we would be so appreciative of it, right? Because it's like for a lot of us, we weren't around for Stonewall. We don't know what that's about, right? You know, I've met some younger queers that don't even know about that. Harold, yo me quedo fría. You know what I mean? Where it's like, what? Do you know what 9/11 is? Okay, well, that was our 9/11. You know what I mean? Like, or do you know what the AIDS crisis is about? I mean, you know, all these budget cuts, right? And us not helping globally, you know, the scare is there.
Yeah. It's a shame that they're utilizing our health and the, you know, just like the safety of who we are as a community, and they're messing with that. You know, they're trying to take away medications, you know, access to medication for thousands of people right here in Florida. That's almost criminal. If you were to really look at it from a big picture, big history perspective, people would look back at this time and be like, what was going on in their minds to think that you can just kick a bunch of people out of life-saving medication, and B, how you have contributed, how we contributed as the collective we, to people now dying of something that they were dependent on our country to give access to.
Yeah, and they had access
And they had
to
access
for
to it
years
for
and
years
years,
and years and
and
years.
now they don't, or
Yeah.
or now they'll lose some of that access. And
Yeah.
they've cut so much funding, and it seems like targeted towards our community. But
Yes.
the sad realism about it, Harold, is that Miami is the number one when it comes to new infections, right? And the folks who are acquiring those new infections are Black or brown women.
Yes.
Not all of them are gay. You know what I mean? So like they're targeting our community, but in such a vile way, they're not. They're still also taking out Black and brown people.
Right. Well, that's really what it's always been about, unfortunately. Whereas, like, who does this mostly impact? Well, it impacts the people that we don't really care for to begin with.
Yeah.
So
that's the message.
that's the message.
That's the message.
That's what it was in the 80s. That's what it is now, and it stems from a lack of empathy and a lack of lack of
100%.
love for your neighbor.
A lack of love.
Yes.
Yeah, a lack of love.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's you've lived at the intersection of faith, queerness, and leadership, okay? And those spaces don't always welcome us.
No.
Where did your spiritual calling first come from?
I just, to be honest, I never felt unloved by whatever you want to call God. I felt unloved by humans, by the people that claim to follow this God or this way of living. But I never felt unloved by the grandeur of what God is. And because of that, I always knew that there was something special in our spirituality, in human spirituality, that can allow us to become the best of who we were always meant to be. It's almost it's like an orientation towards possibility, towards hope, towards love that transcends limitations, that transcends the pettiness of who we are. And it's having that understanding of faith, that faith is the beginning of something and not the end, really is where I draw strength, and what always really inspired me to do the work that I do.
Wow. But you've been part of LGBTQ affirming churches for years.
Yeah.
Why does queer faith leadership still matter right now?
Oh, it matters. I think now, not now more than ever, but now we're in a crisis point that religious leaders who are affirming of our community not only need to speak up, but need to stand in the trenches with us and need to say publicly from their pulpits, this is not okay.
Yeah.
This is not how we do things. This is not who we are. And I do feel that one of the things that you learn when you're doing research, and I did a lot of research on this for my dissertation, was that there's a fear to be honest, to speak honestly from the pulpit, and that comes from a fear of the people who you're speaking to, the people in the pews, and having them take away the donations or having them walk away from the congregation or whatever. But the thing is that by not speaking truth to what's happening in the world, you are telling those who are sitting in the pews that whatever it is that they're learning, or whatever it is that they think Christ, God, Jesus, love, whatever it is that they're thinking of, approves of how the world is. And that's just not it. I mean, like, I have a hard time with even like fundamentalist right-wing evangelical Christians, because it's like everything you're saying, everything you're doing, and everything that you're supporting is the antithesis to Christ. It's the Antichrist.
Yeah.
So you are
like if Christ means love, you're
Right.
doing the opposite.
You're doing
of
the
that.
exact opposite. And not only that, but you also have the whole, like I don't understand how you can pick up any Bible and read the Gospels and say, oh, well, it's okay for them to be doing X in Minneapolis. It's okay for us to not say a single thing about it. It's okay for us to start saying that empathy is actually part of the woke
Being
virus.
woke, yeah.
And it's like, what? Like,
how did that happen?
where are you? Like, what universe do you exist in that you have taken this concept of empathy, of trying to, feel and understand your neighbor more deeply, and saying that this is not what you're called to do? It's like, that is exactly what you're called
to do. I don't understand why those certain folks from the right can pick and choose what they want to grab from the Bible.
Yeah, and then blame, and then say that we're doing the same, the exact
and then
same
say
thing. And
we're
it's like,
doing the same
it's like
thing.
everyone here is playing this game. Like we're all playing this game. Like, at least the game that we're playing is a game that's saying, I love this person because of who they are. You're playing some other game that is saying, I am going to hide behind my faith in order to showcase my hatred towards others.
Yeah. Yeah, but Harold, wasn't the Bible translated 1,000,000 times by different people? And I mean, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I had the privilege, and I'm still so blessed that I was able to go to the Vatican, right? Mm-hmm. In Rome with Darrell Watkins, with the two bishops, Robert and Darrell, right? So they were able to go, okay, you see this painting? Yeah, this person in the back was actually trans.
Right.
Let me explain this to you. You know what I mean? And it wasn't, queer fairy tale hour. They were facts. You know what I mean? That you will never, ever hear from another pulpit that is yours here, Unity on the Bay. You'll never hear from any other place these real things. Yeah. We're not trying to pick and choose. We're just trying to go with what the Christ spirit meant, which was love.
Love, yeah. and it goes beyond love. It's the Christ concept. Christ is Greek for Messiah. And the messianic concept comes from the Hebrew Bible, comes from the prophets. And what's so important to understand is that those people, the people that wrote the Bible during the Babylonian conquest, which happened in 587 BCE, before the Common Era. They had suffered something so traumatic. They lost the temple where they felt God existed, was burned down and destroyed by Babylonians. They lost the city that they had felt was, the city chosen by God, which was Jerusalem. Its walls were breached, the city was burned, and the top of that society was forced into exile. They were literally taken from their homes and forced to immigrate to Babylon, to start over in a foreign land, in a foreign place. And that was a tool for the empire, which was Babylon, to completely, destroy those people. But what they did is no, they wrote their stories down. They took the stories of their oppressors and made it into their own. They said, the Babylon, and back then the understanding of gods is that there were the gods, there were many gods, and there was, the main god and then all the little gods that were around them, and the humans were created to serve the gods, right? Mm-hmm. The Jewish experience, the experience that we see in the Hebrew Bible, is really one of the first times that any human said that, no, actually, we are created in the image of the divine, as partners in creation, as partners in the universe. We're a reflection. That's not separate. Mm-hmm. We are part of the divine. The divine is a part of us. That is unique into that experience. And then they were also one of the first ones to be monotheistic, in that it separates, it takes away all of the deities and condenses it into one. And that one is a reflection of who we are, the best of who we are.
I love that.
But it also has the worst of who we are. Chaos is real, and all of these things exist. So I do feel that the messianic message, that hope, that understanding of what Christ is really a story of survival in adversity. It's a story of hope when you feel hopeless.
Yeah.
It's a story of serving others to the point that you will give your life up for another person.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no greater love than they who give their lives up for their friends. I mean, that's like that's in there, and that is the concept of what Christ is, of what the messianic hopes and expectations are, where they were birthed in a time of great like trauma. These people were traumatized.
Yeah.
But yet in that trauma they created something so beautiful
Yeah.
that we are still talking about today, that has become a part of our history, a part of who we are. And unfortunately is also being used
Against us.
And in very like horrific ways. I mean, the attacks on immigration, the attacks on the immigrants is something that for me it's like low-hanging fruit for people that want to be aggressive, and for people that are looking for a reaction from other people, you know.
Yeah, you're Cuban, correct?
I'm Cuban. I came here in a boat. You know, I am that person that, you know, if I didn't have my citizenship, I would be in trouble. Like I would worry, and I still worry. Even though I have my stuff, like, I still
that's what I'm
worry.
saying. You're brown, honey.
Yeah.
I would still be
The moment I
worried,
leave,
you know?
the moment I leave Miami-Dade.
Like right now when we're airing this show, 300,000 Haitians have lost their temporary stay.
Yeah.
And now they're up for being deported as well.
Right.
You know, I mean, again, like I told you before, it's scary times.
Yes,
you know?
but it's also so un-American. It's anti-American to be this aggressive towards the immigrant community when we are a nation that was built by immigrants.
That was built on immigrants.
You know, we are a nation that our greatness is tied to our diversity.
This is the melting pot that it is. I mean, and the
world.
thing is that, you know, we're around the same age, Harold. We grew up in that time where it was come one, come all. You know, like that was part of the shtick about the U.S. You know, so for now at this age to hear all this going against that is so against everything that we've grown up with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's like, where are we? Wake me up. You know what I mean?
And that's why I feel let down by a system that said this is not who we are, and this is not who we will become, because I'm seeing us become that, and it's so easy. It's so easy. And you know, I was speaking to a friend, the friend that came to visit this weekend. She said that she watched a movie or a series about Mussolini and his rise to power in Italy, and she says that in the series, the character that plays Mussolini breaks the fourth wall and talks to the audience while things are happening.
Oh.
And one of the lines that she said was that boundaries exist until they don't. And then when you cross it and no one does anything, then you know that you can get away with anything.
Yeah.
And that's
so true.
And that's what we're experiencing now. Like, people are getting away with things that we all collectively agree that this is not how we are.
Yeah.
But yet they keep pushing the boundary, keep going over the line, and nothing happens. There's no consequences
no
to
accountability,
their actions.
nothing.
No accountability. No one is doing anything. Our checks and balances are not working.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm as a Cuban, you know that our last election, Miami went red in a second.
Yep.
I'm married to a Cuban, and she was very upset.
Yeah.
You know, she was very upset at her own people, right? And that's something to be hard. It's hard to do that. You know what I mean? Because here in South Florida, if you're Cuban, you're raised to be proud of who you are, right? And there's so many Cubans that it's like collectively, you guys kind of own Miami,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
And then for Cubans and Venezuelans, I'm not going to leave Venezuelans out, to go vote Trump so hard and then now see that they might have made a mistake.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, do you encounter that with people around you?
I do. You know, my family also voted red and overwhelmingly.
Wow.
And I feel that, you know, like, because of empathy, I understand the why. I get it. You you were so traumatized by the environment that you grew up in Cuba. You
The
were
dictatorship.
The dictatorship, the false communism, the false socialism, whatever they want to call it, that whenever someone tells you that they're trying to protect you from the thing that you were traumatized, you cling on to it, even though you believe it, even though that's not what's happening. And you also, because you grew up in a strong, it's called the strong man theory, or the strong person. You grew up in that, so when it happens to you, you don't really see it as a problem. It's like, oh no, this is what I grew up in. So it's like toxic family systems. It's if you grew up in a toxic family and then you meet a toxic spouse and they treat you the same way that your toxic family treated you, you think that's normal.
Yeah.
But it's not normal.
Because you survived it this way, so you're like, okay, I'll survive it again. It's fine, but it's not.
It's not. And I would get so upset about people from other countries that would come and say like, oh well, like what he's doing is great and this and that, and I'm like, nowhere in the history that I can think of, any of this was normal. It might be normal in your countries. It might be normal in Brazil. It might be normal in South America. It might be normal in Central America, in Venezuela, but it's not normal here.
Yeah.
So to see it happen, like the January 6th insurrection,
and everybody pardoned.
And that to me, like I truly lost any respect for the party or for people that were just saying, well, let's give him a chance. Let's give them a chance. Let's see how they do. No, that event to me was so scary, and it is such an attack on our democracy and an attack of who we are and who we say we are.
Yeah.
That I lost our respect. So like when people, I don't understand how people can just like move beyond what happened in January 6th and try to like make sense of it. It's like, oh no, it was Antifa or it was whatever. It's like, no, these people were carrying Confederate flags, crosses, and they looked like a bunch of like lunatics.
They killed people. And nobody even talks about that. The poor family of that officer must be like, coño, this country gives 3 shits about me.
Right. And it's always so interesting that the ones who are all about protect, like respect the law, respect the
Constitution,
the police force, all these things are the same people that killed a cop.
Well, I mean, you just killed an ICU nurse. I mean, these, you know what I mean? I've seen the videos. You've seen the videos. I mean, they also killed Miss Good. I mean, like, and both of them were white. What are they going to do to any of us?
Right.
I mean, anyway, I could talk forever about this with Harold. So let me move on to the next subject, because if not, I'm going to keep him on this. All right. We got to talk about Pridelines. Okay. So let's talk about Pridelines.
Let's talk about Pridelines.
This is not an easy chapter. Okay. Yeah. Pridelines isn't just a building. It's a lifeline for many people in this community. And you're stepping into Pridelines during a moment of instability. Okay. Leadership turnover, staff frustration of whoever's left there. I'm not sure what's going on with the board. You postponed the gala. What made you say yes to this big jumble of stuff that you've got to attack?
Possibility. Because yes.
You answered that quickly too.
Because it's true. Like Pridelines has such it's part of the fabric of the queer history of Miami-Dade. It's part of the fabric of queer history in the United States. It was something that was started after the Anita Bryant attack on our community. Mm-hmm. It was started by a bunch of young people that said, we want a safe space to just be us, to exist, to be our most authentic selves, to flourish. And that's how Pridelines got started. Throughout as all organizations that survive through the many years that Pridelines has been around, there are ups and downs, and there will continue to be ups and downs, no matter what. But I I remember being a young, queer kid in high school, and hearing about Pridelines. I remember walking into their old building that they had that center, and I was like, "Oh, this is so impressive! Like, look at this place that's giving community to
On
the
Fourth
people."
Court.
Yeah,
On Fourth Court.
yeah,
Yes,
the
I
people that
remember
needed
that.
it the most. Look at this place that has brought in other nonprofits too to do the work that needs to get done in the city, and never in my wildest dreams did I ever think that I would have the honor or even the I don't even know how to say it, because it's one of those things like I never thought that this would come to me, and I never thought that I would be at a place in my life that I was able to now help write the next chapter of what Pridelines is and who Pridelines is going to become.
You got a lot of work to do, my friend.
I do.
I don't even know where to begin with that one. Listen, I've helped with the gala. I was very, very entwined into Pridelines during a certain time of their time, right? Because it was in Miami. I really wanted to help support, my wife worked there for a short period of time. I remember having conversations with Victor Diaz-Herman.
Yeah.
And just him, he's a product of Pridelines. You know what I mean? Him telling me him being a queer kid and going in there, and then fast forward to him being the ED of the place for many years, you know? And it was just that. I was like, wow, this place is the fabric of what it means to be LGBTQ in Miami, you know? And they had big dreams about, what to do and incorporate Broward and blah, 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 and then a lot of things went south, unfortunately. And I don't want to give too much light to that, because there's certain things that still haven't been followed through 100%, and it's not our place to talk about them, right? Because we were both not there.
Right. I wasn't there. You were in there. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So, but I will ask questions that I want to know answers to. When services were disrupted, people were left without care. And one of your locations was in Alapata, which is an area that so desperately needs any kind of help, Do you know what happened to the people that Pridelines was actively helping?
So I wasn't there for that time, so I'm not really sure, but I do know that all the procedures were followed to move whoever it is was getting services from those locations and removed to other providers that are now giving them the services that they need, that they continue to utilize.
Because you weren't doing any of those services from the hub that you were working out of the visitor center.
So we were, and it's more nuanced in that, because we were doing it. We're still technically in the process of fixing all that and getting all that situated, but yeah, I mean, it from what I understand and from what I've heard from my team is that there was a lot of there's a lot of things that were put up and that was just thrown into the air, and now I'm going in there with their help, because the team that's there to survive is an amazing team. Their heart is in the right place. They have this immense sense of service for the community. And that to me is like, that's gold. Like, I have a great team.
And those people were there when you got there?
Those people, well, yes. One of them started like maybe like a year before. And then the other one is an institution in Miami, Eddie.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah. So he's
a wealth of knowledge.
Yes,
oh my God.
And I've leaned into him a lot on, like, tell me what was going on. Since he worked there, but he wasn't he wasn't part of the
executive team.
The executive team.
Yeah.
I get a much more nuanced understanding of what was happening from that level. Because I hear what happened on the top, and now I'm getting what's happening in the bottom, and the truth is somewhere in between there. So, it has given me the ability to try to not just try to understand what happened before, but put procedures in place that will ensure that never happens again.
Yeah,
and that the next chapter of Pridelines is one that is going to allow us to thrive once again and to be that community space for the entirety of our community.
Yeah.
Because Pridelines is an older organization. I mean,
Yeah.
it's been on
Yeah,
for
I think it's
over
like 47
40
years or
yes,
something. Like, yeah.
Yes, and I was actually speaking to. I'm very fortunate that I know a lot of people in the community, and I'm friendly with a lot of people in the community that were part of that time, that historical time in Miami. In fact, one of them is Cindy Brown, who was
Oh, I love
huge.
Cindy.
Yeah, she was the one that said, like, Harold, try for Pridelines, and I'm like, okay.
Okay, so you applied for the Pridelines. They didn't come looking for you.
I know. I applied. I
Holy
applied
crap.
for that.
Pridelines, you guys are so lucky.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's God sent. Literally. Literally. Okay, so let me get this. So you lost the Alapata. That's not a thing anymore. It doesn't belong to you guys anymore.
No.
You're just out of the hub in Miami Beach.
Yes.
Correct?
And the future for us is going to be we're going to open up smaller spaces across the city by leaning into the spaces that are welcoming us, which are the queer affirming spaces. The churches,
idea.
the synagogues. I'm working with a synagogue down in Miami to see if we can set up some meeting space or to create groups for other synagogues that want to have
A meeting space.
meeting space.
Yeah.
I'm also working with the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Miami. Luigi is there, and Luigi is he's amazing. He was an ED for Pridelines as well, and I'm leaning into their knowledge and their wealth of wisdom to be like, what made Pridelines successful back then, and how can we bring what worked into the present so that it serves us in the future.
Yeah.
And Luigi has been great about this. And he said, Harold, one of the main things that we did is that we were utilizing the spaces that wanted us there. So Pridelines was originally a Temple Israel. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, let's do those things again. Like let's have. So we're opening up the what I want to call the Dayland Center at the Unitarian Universalist
Near you.
Congregation.
Yeah, that's perfect.
But we'll do youth groups. We'll do support care for people who are living with HIV. That can come and do some support groups. And there we'll do some, Luigi wants to bring back the Lavender Salon, which was like a get together that they used to do with people from Pridelines and in the past.
I know people that are in 12-step programs that their lifelines were those get-togethers that Pridelines had. Maybe it was a painting thing or it was a game night or whatever it was, but that camaraderie and that group really helped a lot of young people.
Yes, yes, and we're facing a loneliness epidemic in this country, and it affects our community as well. And if I can do programming and set up spaces that can help alleviate that loneliness, that can bring people together to just talk, not to learn something or to have to go into like this whatever with an agenda, just give people a space to learn from one another. To enjoy a night out, to enjoy 100%. Like good food, good music, 100%. that is needed. And Miami used to, I always hear from, I've always been someone that I love hanging out with people who are not my age. I
Te gusta lo viejo.
Yeah, I love, but I don't mind people my age because my husband's my age. But
to get that knowledge,
to just sit and be like, wow, tell me about how things were. Tell me about the struggles that you faced that I no longer face, but it's because of you that I don't face these struggles. One of the things that I've always heard is that Miami used to be such a spot for hangout spaces for our community. It wasn't just Twist or Score or whatever is there now, or the Gathering, which I love the Gathering. But we had spaces on the mainland. We had spaces that we used to go to that were ours, that that you can just exist and be yourself in. And my hope, my goal is with Pridelines with our partners is to bring back those spaces so that we can once again come together and face the adversity that's coming, because things are not going to get easier.
No.
Things are not going to, and it's not even about politics. Yes, politics will one day yes, one day no. What's happening to our world, what's happening with our climate, what's happening with the instability that we're seeing, those things are only going to get harder and harder and harder. So it is so important for us to develop these safe lines, to develop these, these pride lines that can keep us together, that can keep us afloat, that can keep us from going under, under the immensity of everything that is happening. I mean, it is overwhelming. There are days that I wake up and I'm like, oh my gosh, like
so
what
heavy.
is it today?
Like it's so heavy, and there's just something about fellowship, right? I'm sober, and honestly, what kept me there is a group of people being in the same crap that I'm in and understanding what I'm going or not understanding what I'm going, that helped me more than the words on the books that I had to memorize and all that,
and we need those sober spaces. It's
there's a lot more people sober these days.
Oh my gosh, like it's so interesting to me to see how there are people who are my age and younger who are choosing to be sober, just because it's like, oh yeah, I don't need to chase that to be happy. I can do that through community. I can do it through other means. And something that I feel like that Pridelines and others in the community can really lean into is to provide those spaces where you can get a mocktail, and the mocktails are actually done really well by like a good mixer. That can give you that experience of socializing without the need of the substance. Because our people because we're so traumatized and there's so much hurt in our community, we do tend to abuse substances at high levels, and if I can work and try to develop spaces that can create an alternative,
then you're gonna do it.
That's what
and you're gonna do it. But you still got to clean up a lot of stuff before you do all that, Harold.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
A lot of cleanup happening.
Like you've always been so transparent. You just are, right? It's like, I'm working on this. I'm going to try to get into this. This might not work. This might work, You're never one to seem to be hiding what you're going through. You know what I mean? So we got to talk about transparency. You know what I mean? So there's been public reports and community concerns about money that was allegedly misused or missing under past leadership that, again, you weren't there for and you didn't have a hand in. Okay? Get that all in, folks. All right? So where does that situation stand now?
So we've cleared a lot of that stuff up. We hired a team that has helped us make sense of what was what was gossip and what is real.
Thank you,
so,
God.
Because there's a lot of gossip. I mean,
there's a lot of BS.
Before I started, there were things that I was hearing that I had to sit with them and okay, this is what I heard. I heard this, and that. And they were like, okay, yes, no, maybe. So we're
still checking on that one.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
But I will say that the team, the leadership team that took over after what happened, really stepped up and ensured that for many reasons that Pridelines was able to stabilize itself once again. And they and this is not just the board, but even other staff people that were there. They helped usher Pridelines through a very dark point in the history of the organization. It's interesting how to see that Pridelines has truly had these high highs and low lows. And to me, it is a testament to the community and to who they are, that in those low lows that would have really that were so low that any other nonprofit I think would have closed down.
Would have closed down.
Pridelines said no. Pridelines said, we're gonna continue to do this. This is important, and people came in and stepped up and helped. So that's why I said yes.
So was the money misused?
I don't know, and there are things that I can't speak about
Of
right now
course.
because of a bunch of different things that are still happening.
Have any charges been filed?
I don't know. I can. There's
Okay.
just things that I can't say with those things.
Okay. How are you ensuring do you still have the same board?
No, we have a new board. We have some members that were there through it, but we're in the process of redeveloping the board. We're in
Is your head person on the board still there?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a new board chair.
Okay.
He's amazing.
Okay.
And we're working collaboratively, not just to ensure that there are checks and balances between the board and the true oversight.
Yeah.
But that there's also clear lines of communication between what my experience is on the everyday operations of the organization and what I'm reporting to the board of, like, this is what I'm seeing, this is where this is where we need help in, this is where I need some support in trying to bring people together, or trying to bring this donor in, or trying to do certain things, and those lines of communications and that ability to be transparent between with the oversight and the people who are running day-to-day operations is so important, because I have seen so many nonprofits with good intention boards get lost in the minutia of, like, well, we didn't know this, we didn't know that, or this is what it is, and this is what isn't. And my goal has always, the way that I want to operate things and I want to run things, and this is from when I was in churches to now, is always, I'm going to give you as much information as I know, because I never want someone to say, like, well, we didn't know this was happening. It's like, no. Here's the email. Here's the data. Here's the timestamp where I sent you this was happening. And that's not a I don't want to use that tool to protect myself, but it's more of, like, to protect the organization from bad actors.
100%.
Because bad actors are always going to come. Like, we're always going to have bad actors.
They're everywhere.
So we have to protect organizations. We have to double verify, check people's statuses, check people's backgrounds. Like, don't just believe someone that comes in with a title and be like, oh, well, that's
I have
title.
47 degrees.
It's like, let's just double check, verify things. And one of the funny things is, like, when I was applying, I'm like, I not only did I take a picture of all my diplomas, but I'm happy to send you my transcripts, because I want to be so
transparent like you are. Yes.
This is the truth of who I am. This is what I have worked so hard to achieve. I don't want anyone to ever say, oh, well, you didn't tell us. It's like, no, I'm telling you everything.
Yeah. When you got there and you agreed to take this job, was the board already eliminated?
The board was already
eliminated.
Yeah.
Okay. Just because, there was someone that was put in prior who I super respected her. She was coming from West Palm Beach,
Right.
an incredible soul, so smart, so dynamic. And it seemed, and this is just my opinion from our conversations, that she was like this.
Right.
Because of the board. And you can't be an ED if you're like this.
Right.
But you just can't. Again, you have to work together.
Right.
You know what I mean? Which was also why I was confused by the money fraud and all that shit, because I don't know anything about nonprofits. I work for one. I'm very well aware, but I don't deal with that kind of aspect of it. And I thought that, like, if a check has to be written, if people even still use checks, that it would be a board member and it would be you. You know what I mean? I would think that things would need dual
authentication,
checks and balances for that to happen, you know? So when that came out, I was like, okay, so who's in the wrong? They should all be picked up then.
Right.
You know what I mean? But that also helps with what you're saying and being super transparent, because you want to make sure that, hey, this is it. This is me coming in naked.
Yes.
Let me know everything.
Yes.
You know?
And I've been lucky and also unfortunate that I am starting with this organization from square one. Lucky in that I'm starting from square one.
Yeah.
Very
difficult,
but at least I know that what the foundation that I'm laying out right now is one that is going to survive, and it's one that is going to be based on that transparency, on that honesty, on that, that way of doing things. The unfortunate part about it is that I'm starting with a team that it's one of my team members. He's newer, so there's no organizational history. Eddie knows everything, so Eddie's great at that.
Yeah.
But I had a program manager like happily resigned, and the reason for resigning was that it was almost like, I help stabilize this organization. I feel that it is in good hands right now, and I need to take a step back from my own personal, from my growth, my future,
For your mental health.
for my mental health. And I get it, I get it. Like, yes, everyone was on edge. Like everyone, and
How
that
could you not
happens. How could you
be?
not be?
I mean, hello, funded, not funded, being a part of this, not being welcome to this, being
Right.
not welcome to that.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are all like walking tiptoe
Right.
in spaces that you used to stomp in.
Right. And I feel like what I bring into this role now is that I am, someone very dear to me told me this recently. It's like, you are an outsider. Yes, I know everybody, and a lot of people know me, but I am an outsider. I mean, I'm not part of the same group of people that are always pictured in different events. I've always been in the orbits of these organizations, but I've never been in it. And that gives me a perspective of like, I can, whatever drama, whatever thing, whatever gossip exists, I'm coming in this fresh. I'm coming in this as a new person.
Yeah.
And I also have the religious spaces that I have connections with, and that I can mobilize, and I can help with collaborations, not just with Pridelines, but with other nonprofits that I'm still very much,
Everybody
love.
knows
Yeah.
you.
I mean, I wanna work with Aqua Foundation for Women. We're doing a lot of joint programming now, because we don't compete, and like you said, who are the ones that are being affected now by HIV, like by new infection rates?
Yeah.
Women.
Black and brown women.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the Aqua is needed now more than ever.
That's true.
So as in this new position as in Pridelines, I want to help Aqua do what it needs to do.
Yeah.
I want to with Safe Schools, work with Safe Schools to go into the schools, to talk to the educators, to do the things that we all needed to do. And what's beautiful about it is that these are all like historic organizations that need to really work together in order to do maximum amount of impact.
100%, but we weren't hugged enough as children,
Right.
okay? And we're always thinking like, no, this is mine.
Right.
If you take a little bit of mine, then I'm not going to have enough. And that's what every organization that's queer-led
Yep.
feels like to some degree, instead of doing what you're saying, collaborating and being able to reach more
Yeah.
people.
And the kind of beautiful thing about AHF is that AHF does gives us the opportunity to do those things and fundraise while we're doing it. Pridelines is again part of the AIDS Walk, and we're a full beneficiary, which means that every dollar you give gets matched by AHF. That is awesome.
That's a
That
lifeline.
doesn't exist anywhere.
No.
That is a lifeline. And what I want to showcase more is that we can make a much bigger impact in our community by not being islands upon ourselves, but by building bridges between one another. And like if you do something really well, there's no reason why Pridelines has to enter into a space and do it.
Yeah.
Like, I will support you to do that. We can join sponsor things. We can do things, like do new things, and Pridelines can sponsor that event, or you can sponsor this event for Pridelines. When it comes to Aqua, bringing back Aqua Girl is going to be so important, because that was a place that women were able to hang out.
It was the
And
first
do
place that I
amazing
went,
things, yeah.
and I was like, wow, I get to be out and free,
Yeah.
and nobody's gonna judge me, and we get to be in bikinis.
Yeah,
I'm there.
yeah. So we want to bring back Aqua Girl, and I'm gonna tap you for all
I'm
these
in.
things too, because
I'm in.
it's so important to the good people in our community, the ones that are doing the work, the ones that are making a difference and truly are showing up every day. Those are the people that I want to empower. Those are the people that I want to continue to put up on pedestals and be like, look, these are good people. These are the people that are going to help you. These are the people that are going to stand with you and stand with us through the good times and the bad times. And being now here at Pridelines, I see those people. And you're one of them, like
Aw, babe.
and when I told you, like, it was,
This man, he has no tact sometimes, okay? He can't
know.
go, hey, give me 2 minutes, or, oh, yeah, we need to have a phone call, okay? Call me sometime during the week. I Mimo in the middle of an event. He's like, hey, it's good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. Kisses, kisses. Oh, I like your dress. Hey, I'm the new ED from Pridelines. I'm going to go get a piece of bread. I'll be back.
And I know, I kind of like do it on you like that, but honestly, like you are that person that gives me hope. And even Lisette from the chamber.
Oh, I love Lisette.
Yeah, the first day that I walked into the office, she gave me this big hug, and she's like, I am so happy that I did see you. And I have never felt so welcome in a new position ever in my life as Lisette allowed, like imparted onto me. And the reaction, the reaction that I get when I tell them I'm the new ED of Pridelines is always like, ooh, are you sure? But then I'm like, but then it's like, okay, but I guess, some people have said that if anyone can do it, I guess like you can do it.
I mean, again, and that's across the board, Harold. Yo te dije lo mismo.
Yeah.
Like I think that just get used to the initial shock.
Yeah.
Just because there's, you know what I mean? Like, in a short period of time, those people did a lot of damage.
Yes.
Unnecessarily.
Yes.
And unfortunately, in our community, we love to help, but we also like to judge. And we can't keep a secret. We will tell all our friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just how we are. You would think that we would be more united. So get used to that shock, but also embrace and take in the energy that comes in with, oh, but if anybody can do it, it's you.
Yeah.
Because in that same breath, I felt that. Like, I could feel and a lot of it is also like, coño, I don't want you to go through hardship either.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's yes, and I get that. I get it from other people too, that they're like, it's going to be, and it is, it's a journey. It's going to be a struggle for us to get Pridelines back to where it needs to be. But the funny thing is that I don't want to do what Pridelines was doing. I don't want to bring bring it back to the golden age. It's like we can develop a new golden age. We can respond to the community, to what our needs are right now. And we're so because we're starting from square one, we're so fluid right now to respond and to create programming and to establish ourselves in spaces that we've always been there, but we kind of like lost sight of in trying to be something that I think got us off mission. So it's a returning back to our core mission, which is to be that center for our community. But it's also understanding that the people who Pridelines first helped are now in their 40s and 50s. The people who started Pridelines are now in their 50s and 60s. There's a whole generational component of people that have walked through those doors, people that have engaged with Pridelines that now allow the organization to re-engage those people where they're at right now in this moment in time. So my goal is to really create this more holistic understanding of what it means to be LGBTQ plus, what it means to be queer, what it means to be someone that you survived the AIDS crisis and you're not like, you're in these silver years and you're like, whoa, I never thought I would get here.
Yeah.
But then also teach the young people of what happened during that time. That you went to funerals almost every weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Like we forget. Like there's this collective amnesia that I think like everybody gets, and this is not just part of our community; it's everywhere. But that collective amnesia is contained by conversations between one another.
Yeah. By
creating safe spaces for those who have gone through it, to teach those who don't know anything about it, but then those that are living out their living out their truth in new and creative ways can teach these other people of like, yes, we use different language, we use different things, and that's and it's because of you all that we're allowed to do that.
Yeah.
And then there's
So
everybody else in
important.
between. There are people, yeah, there are queer parents. There are people that are trying to make families. They are, there's a whole section of our community that is just trying to navigate different ways of being together, different ways of forming family, different ways of even having relationships. That it is important for us to acknowledge it and to engage it and to create the space where everyone can kind of learn from one another. And that is where I want to take Pridelines into, which is really what I think it's bringing it back to the basics of creating this community and this community space for all.
Amen. Yeah, I said that. All right, Harold. So it's time to play a little game before I let you go. I don't know if you remember from last time, but it's called Say What with FayWhat, and it's fast answers, no overthinking.
All right.
Just your first instinct. All right?
All right, I'm ready.
Okay. Sacred or secular?
So say again, sacred or secular?
Sacred or secular?
Secular.
Silence or protest?
Protest.
Therapy or prayer?
Therapy.
Tradition or disruption?
Tradition.
Call it out or call it in?
Call it in.
Beach sunrise or drag brunch?
Ooh, drag brunch.
Cafecito or cold brew?
Cafecito.
Miami traffic or church meeting?
Miami traffic.
Flip-flops or dress shoes?
Dress shoes.
Confession or group chat?
Group chat.
Early morning prayer or late night text?
Late night text.
Saints or sinners?
Both.
Ooh, I love that. All right. Wow. That tells me everything. Final question. What gives you hope right now?
What gives me hope right now is this conversations, being in this bed with you, is seeing how the country is reacting to the horrors that are happening around us, and honestly, like just being in community and being with other people is what gives me not only hope, but it gives me the energy that allows me to do it again the next day, and then do it again the next day,
and then do it again the
and
next
do it again
day.
the next day.
And then,
Yeah.
then he's faith, so he also does it on Sunday twice.
Then on Sunday, yeah. So it's a lot.
Well, folks, this is leadership. This is faith. This is honestly queer resilience. And I'm so glad that I was able to have Harold in bed with me today. Harold, help me finish this interview by looking into that camera and giving them your best. FayWhat?
FayWhat?
Okay, I love it. That was perfect.
And I'll be back again.
You
okay?
will be back
I'm
again.
telling you all now, I'm going to come back and we can do another segment on something else that you want to do.
Yes, I want to talk about church stuff. I'm always so
yes.
confused about church stuff, and I always get comments from you folks also about it. So I need Harold to come back with our questions and see if he can, diagnose us with, not being lost with the Bible.
We can do a whole thing about the Hebrew Bible. We can do a whole historical segment. We can do whatever you want to do.
Whatever. We'll just make it fun. We'll just add drag queens.
Yes, exactly.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
Anyway, follow Reverend Dr. Harold Marrero at Instagram under Rev Dr. Marrero. Facebook also at The Harold Marrero. Follow Pridelines, and also keep your eyes on Pridelines, because this next chapter truly matters. And I have a feeling that we're going to be surprised.
I know we are.
Right?
Thank you.
We'll be right back.